All right, hello. This here is a Microsoft Word document that I actually printed out to use with my students last week, just for a mini little science lesson where we were talking about our senses. And I just had the students, I started off first talking about what the senses were, and we used chart paper and we put up on the board, what are some things that it feels like in fall? Like, is it windy? Is it cold? Then we went on to things, smells in fall, and we did some senses here. I just used the voiceover command in the Mac system, and I have come to realize I do have a lot of work to do if I were to use this in an online class. When I put the voiceover on my worksheet, it actually just listed name and line, and it just went down to this column here, and it did say column feels like blank line, blank line. So it just actually stopped there. It didn't continue on to my other columns. So I actually had to click over here for it to read smells like and go down and click for it to read the other ones. The other thing, I couldn't get it to read the word fall. I don't know if it's because I have it over top of an image, but it would not, no matter what I did, and I kept clicking on it, moving it around, it would not screen read the word fall. So just kind of some more on my evaluation of this. The reading order, just like I said, it doesn't read all of the words. It starts here, and I had to click for my voiceover to read some of the other things. And for my picture of a leaf here, for a student with a disability where they cannot see on the computer as well, they won't be able to see this leaf. And when I clicked the leaf, I have no alt text put in there, so it won't even tell the students that there's an image here of a leaf. So they will miss out on the fact that I have that kind of fall image in the middle. So it doesn't adequately describe it. Another thing, one thing I would like to work more on is just my heading. So I need to make sure when I'm putting in the settings that I click feels like and smells like, and I specify that it is a heading in Microsoft Word. All right, here is a PowerPoint presentation that I did with my students on expository and informative books for a writing lesson this week. When I used the voiceover for this, the biggest, thing for me was that I have a lot of images. I'll scroll through real quick, but you can see there are a lot of images in my PowerPoint. And, for each image, I did not do alt text. So if I have a student, that can't see the image, they aren't going to know what I'm referring to in all of my slides. So my first one here, it says, expository and informative books usually have covers that look real and titles that mirror the topic. What is pictured on the book? So they'll have no idea what is pictured on the book. So it will be, imperative that I do alt text and I describe that book so they know exactly what the question is asking or how to answer it. So that's a big thing that I need to work on. And that goes the same for, I think, for the rest of my slides. This one, the header starts off as asking questions about the books below. So I would have to actually, change that order so that the images, their text describing the images goes first, and then the student can hear the questions for that. Let's see. The color contrast too was the one thing I was, a bit iffy on for this. Using the white text with that light blue background, that might not be enough of a contrast. So if I'm doing something like that black and white, that's, a pretty good contrast. So that's one thing I would also want to pay a little bit more attention to for students that might be visually impaired so they can get the most out of my PowerPoint. Also, I think I did, when I went through with the voiceover, it was pretty good with my reading order. I actually used a template from Microsoft PowerPoint, and each header actually kind of starts off giving you a little bit of info about what the rest of the slide will be about. The only thing, like this one right here, just asked questions referring to the slide. So maybe I would, do a different header letting them know that there will be questions about pictures on the slide. And then I did pull up the outline view over here for my slides, And as you can see, there's really not that much writing in my outline view. So I would also, make sure I'm adding to that and making sure there's a sufficient outline for a student that it will be able to read it to them better if they can't see it. So I think, you know, overall I have a lot to work on if I were teaching this in an online classroom so that I could benefit all of my students and that they all, take something away from this lesson. And that's it. Thank you for listening.